I don't want it to fizzle out. I want it to be good. I want to feel that excitement and that chemistry, but it takes time investment. If we don't put proper time investment into dating connections, then this is going to come back to bite us because we're just not going to have as good of experiences and people aren't going to feel good dating you. Hello, friends. Welcome back to Dating as Humans. My name is Josh. This is the channel where we talk about how to date rationally, logically, have a better dating life for everyone. I want people to have an amazing dating life. I love an awesome dating life. I think far too humans are having issues with dating, and that's what this channel is intended to help solve. Talk about how dating rationally and logically, instead of just strictly based on our feelings, can basically yield much better results. I'm in my car driving right now. I am basically heading to my job, and we're in the snow because we just recently had like a snowstorm and there's like a car coming around me, getting stuck in the snow. Try not to get hit by it. But anyway, so yeah. What I want to talk about today is basically time investment while dating. A lot of people don't do this. A lot of people ignore this, unfortunately. I think people whose love language is quality time understand this a lot, but this isn't just true for people who have quality time as a love language. This is true for everybody who dates and every human out there. Every human wants to feel important. Every human wants to know that in their relationships they're important. And one of the fastest ways to hurt our relationships is by not continuing to spend quality time. A lot of the times when we initially start dating someone, we're very interested. We're very motivated to spend time with them. We might be motivated because of the new feelings, the new butterflies, right? It's like a new thing. It's exciting. We're maybe kind of goal-oriented. You might be wanting to be intimate. You might be excited to be developing a new emotional connection. You might have a crush, right? But then as we continue to date people, sometimes we can get to a point where we start to expect a lot from them without wanting to put more in. We kind of instinctively want to make it more efficient. I'm going to word it like that. Instead of saying, we get lazy, I'm going to say we try to make it more efficient. In other words, you think, well, now that we kind of know each other, we don't have to try so much, right? We can just hang out together, get our hanging out in, when we're going to, and then we're fine the rest of the time. We have each other, we know we like each other, and that's just how we're going to do it. But the reality is that this approach to dating will actually really hurt your chances in the long run because you're leaving a valuable currency on the table. That's the currency of quality time, of appreciation, right? And building together. So right now, I'm dating right now, actually two different people. I'm non-monogamous. I'm ethically non-monogamous. Basically living as a single guy, but I'm kind of just making my partners aware that, I'm going to date who I want to date. And I'm mostly dating other non-monogamous people. But the thing is that I just had a hard week with work. I had a hard week with weather. This last week was very challenging for me emotionally, very challenging for me logistically. I spent a lot of time isolating this week. Spend a lot of time working on work things, other things, life infrastructure things. And I cut way back on dating activities this week. I didn't do near as much. That includes texting. And I'm going to tell you what, all my dating connections, I feel like, felt this. It just hasn't been as, good. It hasn't been as close, as connected. It hasn't been as intimate. There's especially one of my dating partners who I think has actually really been affected by it. She has really kind of withdrawn and isn't talking to me as much. And I can feel that energy, and I understand why. It's because when she sensed that I wasn't putting as much energy into it, I think that she, probably just felt a certain kind of way about it, which is really understandable. It's really understandable that when you feel someone kind of pulling back, not putting energy in, you're going to want to do the same. It doesn't feel good when someone does that. Now, I admit, I don't like how that went down this week. Sometimes it will happen, but here's the thing, I didn't do it intentionally. I didn't think maybe I can keep getting the benefits out of this without spending quality time with her or, spending enough time to talk to her. And I did talk to her, right? But see, generally I'm investing a certain amount of time every day talking, every day texting, every day, having a conversation, planning the next date, right? And this last week, most of that was pretty much absence on my part. Now, there were extenuating circumstances, but if that were to continue, like if I were to just continue to be that way, this relationship would probably fizzle out, honestly. I don't want it to fizzle out. And that's why now that I'm onto a new week and things are kind of back to normal, I'm like, okay, I need to get back to normal. I need to continue investing time in the people I care about and the people I want to date. And I don't want it to fizzle out. I want it to be good. I want to feel that excitement and that chemistry, but it takes time investment. If we don't put proper time investment into dating connections, then this is going to come back to bite us because we're just not going to have as good of experiences and people aren't going to feel good dating you. One of the most interesting things I see, I feel like so I'm 39, in like the 30 to 37-year-old range, women, whenever I start talking to them, whenever I start dating them, it's very interesting. I get very sometimes low effort from them. And it's kind of like they expect high effort but give low effort. And I always disengage with these people because partly it's like, well, they're obviously not that interested if they're not putting in energy. That's like what I think. That's how I feel. So why would I want to be putting energy into someone who's not interested in me? What's going to get my attention? What's going to make me happy? What's going to make me want to spend more time with someone is if they are putting attention into me. However, it's also important for me to know that that's only going to last so long if I don't reciprocate. If I don't reciprocate that, then that good thing I enjoy is going to die down and go away. Why? Because they're going to realize there's an imbalance. They're going to realize that they're not receiving what they're giving. And if they are a self-respecting person, right, who values themselves and their time, they're going to say, this really isn't working for me. And so that leads you to a place where, if you aren't careful and you develop this as a chronic thing where you kind of initially put effort into people, but then it dies down as your initial interest dies down and you kind of reach a more normal state of the relationship, like you kind of plateau out the feelings. That's very normal, plateauing out of the feelings. It doesn't mean you're not into the person. Actually, that can be a very beautiful place to be. It's just that you need to make sure to continue to put an effort into it and get to that place. Otherwise, they're going to lose interest. So here's the bottom line of it. If someone is worth dating, if someone's worth sleeping with, if someone's worth building a future with, if someone's worth going on dates with, spending time on, right? If they're worth sharing a bed with, worth sharing feelings with, then they're worth some time and energy scheduled into your day. And I understand being busy. Man, I really understand being busy. I really understand having things to do. I understand having obligations. However, I'm telling you this from experience. I'm telling you this, from my own perceptions. I'm telling you this based on what people tell me, what I hear when I talk to people about dating. And this is the bane of many marriages. A lot of marriages get so comfortable and efficient that nobody feels like, they care for each other anymore. And then they go have an affair. And then they see someone else putting in effort. And that feels so good. And that's super difficult to navigate. It's very understandable to be like, man, why would I want to keep investing in this marriage where this person isn't putting any effort into the relationship? When this other person is like really trying hard. Honestly, there's they may or may not be trying hard because they actually care. They might just be trying to get laid or whatever. But you see what I'm saying? Like, you see the point I'm trying to make here is that investment of time, energy is really important to a relationship. And this is a rational approach to dating. It's just like in the workplace. If you don't schedule time to talk to your people, to talk to your crew, to talk to your employees, to talk to your team, to share appreciation, to communicate with them, to show an interest in their well-being, they're just going to see you as the person who writes the paycheck. They're not going to care about you. They're not going to care about contributing to your business. All they're going to care about is doing the bare minimum to keep getting the paycheck. Sort of like what they feel like you're doing, which is the bare minimum to get them to work to make you money. See? So that's a horrible way to live. Nobody wants to live like that. That's a horrible base level transitional way to live. And I understand that there are people and that, there are elements of their lives that are run like that. And sometimes it just has to be that way. And sometimes people even are fine with it like that. But I don't think our dating lives should be that way. I don't think that that's the best case scenario. I think it can be so much more beautiful than that. And I see that in my dating life. It can be so much more beautiful than just the bare minimum transactional type of thing, right? Or like you treat it like it's a response, like it's a responsibility or like a chore, or it's like, yeah, I've got to take her out to dinner if I want to get laid. Or for her, it's like, oh, I have to sleep with him if I want him to spend any time with me. It's like using that leverage, right? by the time we get there, isn't that such an unfortunate place to be? None of us want to be there. We want to be excited about our dating life. We want to be excited about our relationship, excited about our partner. So at the end of the day, that's kind of my exposition on that. I think that we need to be more intentional about actually investing time in our dating partners. With that being said, this makes me think it's time for me to use the rest of this drive to send some voice messages to the lovely ladies I'm dating and let them know I'm thinking about them and let them know I appreciate them and that I'm sorry I've been a bit withdrawn this last week. And then I'm going to go back to putting effort in. So friends, I encourage you to do the same. Let's make dating awesome again. Okay. All right. I'm Josh. This is Dating as Humans. I'll see you awesome people on the next one.